for joining me. Today we are trying on a lot of new makeup. The last of my Sephora orders came in. I have a couple of makeup products, actually one makeup product. This one, which I just opened and used. It's the Terracotta Le Teint, and I have mine in 4N. I'll let you know if the color selection was correct for me or not, and a little bit about the first impressions, of course. And then this, I was most excited about, the Soleil Toujours, and we've got that on under half of my face. Under half of my face? Under makeup on half of my face. So we're trying this out. I was really excited about this product. Picked up the Firming and Brightening Silk Crème Activator by NuFACE. And then this is an interesting product by Dr. Brandt. It's a liquid sun shield, and we can look at this at the end as well. But I also picked up products from the other haul. So I've got two Armani blushes. We're gonna look at number 50 and 51. I've got both of those on my face right now, these two. And I also am trying out the Cle De Peau powder. This one, the translucent pressed powder, I believe is what it's called. One of my usual favorite powders on my face right now. And then we've got the Cle De Peau mascara. I'll try that out today, as well as, oh yeah, picked this up and I tried it today without a lip liner. It's by Givenchy. It is the Rose Perfecto. It's the lip balm in number 37, or maybe Rose Perfecto is the name. This one right here. We've got a couple of interesting products from Esum that I used today. We've got an eye palette, all mattes, and then we also have this face, I love the name of this. It's the Structure Face Shaper Palette. So we're gonna try all of that on today, so let's go ahead and get started. One of the products I get most excited about is SPF. I know it sounds like a silly thing to get excited about, but I'm always searching for something that's going to provide a lot of protection, but also not look like I'm wearing a lot of SPF. So I like a mineral sunscreen, and those typically have the most white cast, but I found this, the Soleil Toujours, it came in. It's got SPF 50. The sunscreen in here is 12% zinc oxide active ingredient. And I did already try it this morning because I couldn't wait. We went out today, and this was the only thing I put on my face. I don't think I added anything else. I think I added a little bit of powder sunscreen on top, but I just went in with this. And I had high hopes for this because it looked like a more golden glow. One thing I did notice, so here's the shade. One thing I noticed, it is a little bit on the more yellow side. So I'm gonna show you half, and you'll get to see how it looks on the skin. So that's the color. It's pretty heavy duty, not like the Color Science, but I noticed it does have a fragrance like a cedar wood, or I don't know, citrus. Yeah, there is a fragrance. I don't know if it's like an intended fragrance or if just part of the actual product. It's a pretty significant scent on the onset, but then it dissipates. It does a really nice job of blurring, and it doesn't have a white cast. It has a little bit of like a, I don't want to say greasy, but you can see it's got this like dewy residue, and it did seem to dry down, but we'll let it sit for a moment here. You can see how it just filters a little bit. I think these dark spots are a really good indicator of how well something blurs. You can still see them, but it's definitely blurred. Apply 15 minutes before sun exposure, and then after 80 minutes of swimming or sweating. It's supposed to be water resistant, 80 minutes, and then reapply every 2 hours at least. And this is made in the US if anyone is interested. So that is how that looks, and that's why I went out just with this today. So if you can see here, I just went out with this and I put a hat on and sunglasses and it was fine. So I went out with that, and I just again put a little bit of the matte SPF by Color Science on the powder version, but I wanted to show you that and then see how it performs under foundation as well. So another thing that came in that Sephora order is this, the Terracotta Le Teint. This is a Healthy Glow Natural Perfection Foundation 24-hour wear, no transfer, 99% naturally derived ingredients. And I'm not sure of the shade. Like I said, it was a shade matcher that let me know this was probably the best match. So it's in 4N. This looks promising. So we will apply it to this side of my face. Oh, that looks pretty good, actually. Not bad. Oh, it looks like it might be a little dark though, huh? Let's look at this. And I just washed this brush. So those of you who have asked me, I think I get this question every like 5 videos or so, how do I wash this? So I take the Beauty Blender soap, I dampen that of course, I wash it on a mat. I have a textured mat, or you can use a textured glove, and I wash all the foundation out of it, and then when I dry it like this first to get all the excess water out, and then I'll dry it like this to let the rest of it dry. And then I just fluffed it up like this, and it looks like brand new. So this one is one of 3 that I have. So we're gonna go ahead with this Terracotta foundation. I haven't really seen any reviews. Oh, it's even a little dark, isn't it? I haven't seen any reviews on this. Yeah, this is a little too dark for me. 4N is dark. I can go in with a really thin layer though here. Yeah, I think I should have gone a little bit lighter. That's too deep for me. I don't usually do that. I usually will go a little lighter, but that's okay. We'll do it for a wear test. I really like how this went on though. It's a very thin, lightweight kind of foundation. It reminds me a little of like the Chantecaille cushion in that it's a very thin layer. It's really close to the skin. It went on very evenly. Of course, this brush helps a lot too. Let's try this over SPF. Okay, so far it worked really nicely over that SPF. Nothing like gummy or balled up or anything. And that gives a little bit of a glow. But definitely, like, maybe this is a good shade for my forehead. If you're like the shade of my forehead, let's see if we can build this up. Oh yeah, that's even like a little bit deep for my forehead, isn't it? So I like the appearance of it over the SPF over here. Like I said, the SPF has some like dewiness to it, but it also dried down. I need to watch this SPF a little bit more just to see how it goes. But I'm gonna just conceal with my regular concealers. I'll go in with my Chanel under the eyes, Cle De Peau here, and then La Prairie, and then let me do, oh, we're gonna do brows a little differently, so let me just conceal first. Going in with the Cle De Peau powder. Wow, that foundation's really too dark for me, isn't it? I'm gonna use this, I don't know, it's such an interesting applicator because I feel like this is a very luxury brand, very lovely powder, but the applicator is very thin, very flimsy kind of applicator, but we'll try. And you can see there's just a slight amount of color on there. It's supposed to have a satin-like finish. Definitely looks pretty on the skin. Yeah, it reminds me of their loose powder, but in pressed form. So I don't know if that's what it is. Let's try it with a brush because this, I don't love this. I mean, I like the result, but we'll see if a brush does a better job. BK Beauty 105. So that does the job, but what I notice is that it's very smooth with this applicator. So I think that's the purpose of this applicator, is that it really presses all of the makeup down and gets a very smooth kind of surface. Okay, obviously that's too much powder. It does a really nice job of getting that powder really in there and also reducing any kind of texture issues. Yeah, it did a nice job. And it takes down that dewiness I had because of especially the SPF over here. Yeah, I'm not surprised that this is a lovely powder because like I said, Cle De Peau loose powder was one of my very favorite powders ever. It does what some powders will do, is that it will actually make the dark spots kind of show through a little bit more. I probably could have used a little bit more concealer, but I didn't see it as necessary when I was going in with the concealer. I want to play around with that powder a little bit more, but I like the finish of the powder for sure. I'm going to go in with this Esum, the Tapestry, no, not Tapestry, the Artistry palette number 1. And these are all matte. I'm going to use, let's see, I want to do brows with the browns because I want to kind of see how we can layer these in here. So I'm going to take this deepest brown color, this one, and use that for the arch and outward. And we're going to try also the other shades in there. So let me just try that as a brow shade. So I was reading a little bit about this palette and what you can do with it. We're gonna use the darkest shade for that, and then I wanna use some lighter shades and build out. So I like this tone here because it's cool. So we're gonna try that one towards the center. And I wanna still cool that down even more, so I'm gonna go in with this one here. I might even go in with this gray right here to really cool that down, because I can see any warmth there is gonna pop out. So I'm gonna go in with the gray. Much better. Okay, let me even out the eyebrows. And then I just went in with the Onset Brow. But I can see how this palette, especially for a makeup artist who has lots of different clients, could really use these colors over here for many different people. And it worked a little bit better when I used the gray and this color for the front of my brows, because then I didn't get any of that warmth there. I just added in a little bit of this one just to even them out, but I probably could have skipped that shade right there. We're gonna go in with this in a little bit, but we're also going to use this one. This was by Esum also. It's the Artistry palette, and it's the number 8 Structure Face Shaper palette, and I love that name. I love anything that can bring a lot of dimension to the face by just using various shades of a similar kind of texture. So in this case, this powder. We're gonna go in with this deepest shade here, and this is again number 8. It's going here like I would a contour with that deepest shade. And also get that into the hairline here. Okay, I'm gonna take this shade next to that, this one, and just place that a little bit higher. So just a little bit closer in. So not as close to the hairline, a little bit higher on the cheekbones. Just take any excess down here along the jaw. I forgot to mention the Terracotta Le Teint. It has a fragrance, so it's very reminiscent of other Guerlain products I've used. So know that that one does have a fragrance to it. And I can still pick it up, so that's why I remembered it, that I wanted to let you know that it does have a fragrance. Okay, I'm gonna take a different brush here. Playing around here with all of these shades, I'm gonna take this shade, this middle shade right here, and apply that even higher on the cheek. Because I don't know how it would look as like a blush-ish color. Let's see. If you want something really natural, these are really pretty shades. I love how they kind of just blend into each other. Then let's take this next lightest color and we're gonna put that higher up even on the cheek, this one. So I'm gonna take that even higher and then even up on the front of the face here. And then let's take the lightest shade and we're gonna go all the way to the front and see how that looks. I'm just gonna blend with this as well. That's pretty though, I love that. I love that blended kind of look. We're gonna do something really natural. Let's try just building some dimension first. Let's try this all over the eye. Let's take the Chantecaille Shade and Sweet brush. I put on some Chantecaille eye base, but let's go in with this on the eye. I'm gonna take this lightest shade, this one right here, and just go right under the brow with that. Same brush, I'm just flipping it over. This is number 206. Let's take this in the crease right here. I love that these tones are close to each other but have different undertones also. Nice, easy blending kinds of products. Let's take this rougher number 13. We're gonna build a little bit on the exterior here. Let's see, let's use this one right here. Really easy products to use. Let's take a mid-tone And I know we usually do this to kind of blend everything together. That's my little trick for how to bring those two together. So there's nothing shimmery, and that's kind of like a thing I do to make it a little bit easier to blend because it kind of hides things when you have a shimmery product. Let's go in with this tone right here. I have to do this a couple times. So let's just go in right here with that. It's a little bit more pigmented than I had expected. Let's try this shade right here because I was curious about that shade. Looks like this. Just kind of blended that together. Didn't really show up as a color per se, but it made it a lot smoother looking. Let's add a little more though. Okay, now we can see a little bit more of the actual color, and I like that coolness about it. Okay, we're gonna make a bit of an eyeliner here. Let's take this Esum brush, and I'm going to take, what should we take? This shade, it's so pretty, but let's take the, like, I love this column right here of shades, but let's just take that as eyeliner. This is an Esum number 5? Yep, 5, TO5. Really close to the lash line. Yeah, the powders look really nice up here as well. Okay, let's try this mascara. This is by Cle De Peau, and it was by request, and I'm always interested in mascaras, but typically I find with luxury brand mascaras, they build really slowly, they're really fine. It's if they're created for people who already have beautiful lashes, but they don't tend to build up as well. That's why I love the Chantecaille so much, because it does build up so beautifully. Although I have high hopes for this because the wand looks really nice on this. So this is in the shade, I think this is shade black. I didn't even realize. I think they make a brown too. Well, we'll see. Okay, so far this is one of those really slow, very gentle builds, more typical of a luxury brand mascara. And I will change application based on how that mascara is doing. So if I notice it needs wiggling, I'll wiggle it through. If I notice it needs to be swept through the lashes a little faster, I'll do that too. Just depends on how the mascara is grabbing the lashes. That's a pretty lash. It's more gentle, more fluttery, and it's very tapered at the ends, but it looks pretty. Yeah, it looks pretty, but it's definitely a different result than the Chantecaille. Chantecaille will get volume, length, all of that really fast, but I'll build this up. So let me see, that's 2 coats, but let's see how it goes. Okay, so this is about 4 coats of mascara. I think I go in with 4 coats with the Chantecaille, but what I noticed is at about 4, it starts to gather at the edges or the ends of the lashes. I don't know if you can see, so I'm gonna have to like pick off a little bit of excess there, and then I think you can see it a little bit better over here. Picking off a little excess here and here, which is what I don't have to do with Chantecaille. I don't ever do that with that, but with other mascaras I have to. This though, however, is very pretty. It's a pretty lash. I think if you don't want too much volume or too much length, it looks really natural, and I think it built up nicely again until that 4th coat. But it's a nice one. I don't know if there's amazing like lift or anything. I actually have a little trouble getting this one to lift, but it looks, I can see if you have photography really close to the face that this is a nice one because it doesn't look like there's a lot of product on the lashes, except again, if you get to the 4th coat and it starts to build on the ends there, but you can just kind of get a little bit of water in your fingertips and then just remove the excess. But of course I will keep trying this out to see how it goes. Okay, now we've got the Armani blushes. I'm excited about trying these. So they had a very creamy touch to them. They felt creamy. Knowing that it's a little creamy makes me want to pull for a brush that can handle that. So I'm gonna pick this Rowan brush. It's a blush and blend, and it's very pink, you can see. So let's go in just for a little pop of color here. And then let's go in with this number 50. Now it looked like it had a lot of glow to it, like a goldish glow to it, that I was surprised about. But I think this one went out of stock or was low in stock. This one was interesting to a lot of people, I'm gonna say. So let's go ahead on top of that. But yeah, you can see it does have a glow, but I wonder how close this is to the glow on the Chanel blush, because that one's like a highlighter blush blend itself. But yeah, I would be careful about bringing it too far in the front, just because it might emphasize some texture there, but it looks really pretty on the cheeks itself. Okay, and then I don't know how this is going to look. Let's try. I'm gonna try this Givenchy. It's in number 37, Rose Perfecto. And I picked this because it looked pretty. That's really the only reason I picked this. I loved the packaging. I think it's beautiful and the color looked nice too. I think I tried this on with a lip liner at one point and it was a little bit warm. So let's see without a lip liner. Oh. That's pretty. Okay, so that lip liner I tried definitely warmed it up too much because it was not this color. Reminds me a little bit of the Chanel Balm as well. If I could find it for you, I would compare. If I can find it, I'll insert a little clip, but it reminds me of that kind of a consistency, texture, sheerness, hydration, all of those things. Okay, and then let's go ahead. Yeah, you can really see how much darker this foundation is than I need it to be, but it's a lovely finish. I really like the finish on it. It says 24-hour. Let me know if you want a 24-hour wear, but I feel like I need to do that without anything underneath just so you can see by itself, but let me know. But let's go ahead and refine a little bit with, what shall we use? Oh, let's use this Cle De Peau. This one right here. So whenever I go to the mirror to do my hair, I can see the overall makeup and notice some areas where I think I can apply a little bit more or balance things out. So I do want to add a little bit more of this deep shade right underneath. Right up in the hairline and just along the jawline. So just to add a little bit more there. For more dimension, because that's the purpose of this palette. And then I just want to go in the crease here with the Esum. And typically I notice that after, like a little while after I do my makeup, I'm going to take a little bit of this number 16 rougher. I was debating between 16 and 27, but 27 is a little bit like wider. I want to keep it still a little bit more focused, but also a little bit higher up. So I'm going to take, let's take this crease color. I think this is the one I used right here, this crease color. And let's take that, actually, I'm going to go into this cooler shade also. I'm going to take both of those. And then I'm going to put that in the crease, just build the crease up a little bit. And this is the final look. I have some thoughts around these. I love the tone of this SPF. In fact, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna apply it on top of my makeup now because we need to go out and I really wanna protect my skin, but I wanted you to see the foundation without the SPF, but I'm gonna add it on top. I might totally completely ruin my makeup, but I'm gonna try. But my thoughts about this are, I love that it has a golden tone. It does tend to be a little bit more yellowy, but it also has SPF 50, it's mineral. I love that, and it does have a beautiful glow. It does blur my imperfections on my skin, so I was really happy using that this morning. It is a little bit more hydrating than I would like, so if you have a dry skin type, you might really like that. If you are combo, maybe not the most ideal. I wish it dried down a little bit more, but again, I'm gonna watch that because I've only used it a couple times now, once in the morning and once with this, but it did dry down nicely now, but it's got definitely more hydration on this side than on this side with the foundation. As for the foundation, lovely dry down on this. I love the texture. I love that it was nice and thin. You could tell that it probably is going to stay in place for a long amount of time just based on other foundations I've tried that have similar properties upon initial application. Of course, we will do a wear test in the future. 4N is not the best shade for me though. It's too much color. It's really great for my forehead though, so I'm gonna see what the next natural step down would be while not totally throwing off the undertone. It does have a fragrance though, so if you don't like that, you probably wanna pass on it. This is lovely, the Givenchy. Really love that for the lips. I'm glad I tried it without the lip liner today. Very hydrating. And then we've got the Esum products. Lovely. I loved the fact that you could blend these all really nicely together. Very seamless going on. I'm gonna play with this more because I love this kind of a product. Then these eye shades were beautiful. I love that they were all matte. So this is a great palette just to have, because if you encounter any other palettes where you're thinking I'm missing a crease color, usually that's the one thing that doesn't seem to be there if you're missing a shade. There are many options for crease shades. These worked great for brows, very, very versatile. And then I loved these shades. I want to play with these a little bit more. You can see the undertones seem to align with each of the columns too, which I love. So lovely all-purpose palette to have. I think a rare palette as well to find high quality mattes all in one place. Onto the Cle De Peau products. I thought the powder was actually quite nice. This applicator is a little funny though, in that it feels really flimsy, but I think it does the job. I think it gets a product in there and makes the surface very flat and seamless. So I think I tried it with a brush. It doesn't do the same thing because I'm not pressing the product into the skin. So I think that's part of the process to get the result, like a smoother result. So that was lovely. So you remember how the dark spots kind of popped out when I put the powder on? I noticed over time that it diminished. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it wasn't as apparent. So that's not as much of an issue as it could be, because it seemed to kind of blend in, and then the dark spots were not as emphasized. Then for the mascara, lovely, pretty mascara. It does remind me a lot of other luxury brand mascaras where the buildup is slow. But then again, once I got to coat 4, I had a little bit of extra on the ends there that I had to clean up. So if you like to go in with like 2 coats and want a very natural, fluttery, pretty lash, I think this is a good one. But again, the lift wasn't really there in terms of holding, I don't curl my lashes, but I can imagine if you did, that it's not going to really hold them because it wasn't pushing my lashes up as much as other mascaras I've tried. These blushes are lovely. The Armani blushes. Beautiful if you want cool tones. They seem to be harder to come by. And then this one was pretty, but like I said, it just has like a highlighter blush blend about it. So just being careful about right here up in front. But other than that, I was really happy with my purchases. Oh yeah, and then I told you I'd show you this product here, the Dr. Brandt Liquid Sun Shield, just so you could see what it was like, because it is, it does have zinc oxide 17% sunscreen. So it looks like this in the bottle, and then when you open it, it has a dropper like this. Here's how it looks. Here's how it looks on. Now I'm seeing a bit of a white cast, so of course we'll try that on at some point. I'll let you know my thoughts, but we'll see how it was. Interesting. Kind of went away after I worked it in. So not as much of white cast. Oh, okay. This is promising too, so we'll give that a try as well. But I do get really excited about SPF, so I'll be giving those a try. Let me know if you picked up any of these products, what you think, and I still have more makeup to try. I have Hourglass eyeshadow sticks I'm looking at over there. I also have Chanel foundation I need to try on, so I've got to make another video with more new makeup that I need to try. But I will be testing all of these out in the background as well. And let me know what you'd like to see wear tests on. I'd be happy to do that. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other. Stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.